Alright, welcome back. Now this is going to be a start of a new series where I will explain where to basically aim to disable a vehicle, to disable a tank in one hit basically. And of course I'll be covering all the weak spots and all the vulnerable spots on all of the vehicles that are currently available in the game. And today I'll be starting with the Soviet heavy tanks. That was a very requested, very popular topic, and I am more than happy to show you where to shoot these tanks to basically kill them in one hit. Now, I'll start all the way from rank 1 with the, I believe it's the KV1 or the, yeah, it's the KV1 ZIS-5. This is the first vehicle that I'll start with. Now, all of the KV hulls have basically at least the three different weak spots from the front. You have the driver's hatch, you have the machine gun turret, and you have the lower plate. Now, let me get a mouse real quick so that I can actually more accurately show you what I'm talking about. And this is kind of a universal thing for all the KV hulls. So here is the mouse. So first weak spot and the most vulnerable weak spots on the KV hull is the driver's hatch, which is right here. If you hit the tank right here, it's going to go in and basically cause all sorts of chaotic activities inside of the vehicle. We also have the machine gun turret, but I don't really shoot at the machine gun turrets since there is the driver's hatch, and of course from the front you also have the lower plate, which could be a secondary larger target to shoot at, since it's much easier to hit than the driver's hatch. Now, you can also shoot the turret cheeks on the KV. I usually shoot right here with the KV2 since it just kills the tank, but you can technically shoot the KV1 right in the turret cheeks. From the side, it's much easier to penetrate this vehicle from the side. Right over here in the back is the fuel tank. The fuel tank is quite explosive on the KV, so if you hit the fuel tank, it just blows up. Anywhere on the side, in the upper plate above the tracks, is also going to do a lot of damage. There are also fuel tanks that we can hit. From the back, we can hit the KV below the back of the turret, and that will go in and kill the turret crew. From the other sides, basically same thing. The entire upper side plates and the back plate is where the fuel is located at, but from the side it's not that much of a problem to penetrate the KV. Avoid shooting at the tracks though, since the tracks on the KV are quite tough and they can absorb a lot of shells. Now the KV2, this is a vehicle that you will face in rank 1, and the whole armor, the same weak spots, the driver's hatch, you also have the machine gun turret, and you also have the lower plate. Now, on the KV2, I like to shoot a KV below the main gun. You see that flat surface right below the main gun on the turret, right over here. This is basically the flattest surface, and most of the shells can penetrate here, and when it goes in, it can detonate the ammo. As you can see, it's pretty flat here, and you can kill the turret crew, you kill the loader, gunner, commander. Basically, it immobilizes the vehicle for some time, and see the KV2 can shoot at you without a gunner. The side armor, side plate above the tracks is also where you should shoot at. That's where the fuel is also located. It's right over here. The ammo is stored below the vehicle, and it's also stored in the back of the turrets, right where the star is. And the same can be said from this side as well. Basically, you can shoot at the upper plate above the tracks. If you want to aim for the fuel, you shoot the second half of the tank. If you want to shoot at the ammo, which I recommend, shoot the turret. Now, let's take an X-ray look at the KV. So, as you can see, the ammo is located at the back of the turret. At the basically back corner of the turret, you can also see the fuel tanks and the engine bay, which is also located below the deck of the vehicle. From the front, as you can see, the ammo is right behind the driver and the machine gunner. If you hit the vehicle from the sides in the front part, there is a good chance that it's just going to blow up since the ammo will be detonated. So it's very easy to disable the vehicle. Quite easy to disable the KV, and if you do hit the driver's hatch, it will basically go in and go directly into the ammo, and the chance of detonation is quite high. Of course, it will also cripple the tank, set it on fire, and good chance that it's going to be completely immobilized. So let me give you an example of what happens when you hit a KV in the flat surface on the dirt from the front. Well then, here you can see the shell flying on my tank, of course, and there we go. Direct hit below the gun, and the tank just blew up, and the KV is destroyed. Now, if you have a smaller caliber gun, you can also do the same thing. It will probably detonate it the same way. If it doesn't, then the second hit will, but the kill is almost guaranteed. If you manage to hit a KV in the weak spot, it's going to blow up. And again, another example, you hit the tank below the main gun and it just blows up. Very easy to disable the KV2. Now, let's go to the KV1E. This is kind of a enhanced KV1, although you have basically the same weak spots. You have the driver's hatch, the machine gunner, you also have the lower plate. However, on this vehicle, you also have a slightly larger turret. And if you have a high velocity cannon with a lot of penetration, you can technically shoot the turret armor on the side. You also have the turret cheeks. This tank can be penetrated there as well. From the sides, you do have a heavily armored turret, and I actually recommend that you shoot the plate below the turrets on the side armor. That's where you can also detonate the fuel tank, and you also can damage the ammo, which is also stored below the vehicle. The ammo is stored right on the floor of the KV, so you want to aim really low if you want to hit the ammo, but it's also much easier to just aim at the upper side armor, where you can hit the crew. You can also hit the engine and fuel, which can also lead to the detonation, or the vehicle can also be set on fire. And an X-ray look on the KV1E. As you can see, there is no ammo in the turret, so if you want to detonate the ammo, then you should definitely aim at the lower plate. Also, if you do hit the driver's hatch, you will probably not detonate the ammo, but you probably kill the crew. So you have several different options: either kill the crew or shoot the ammo and detonate the ammo. Although the hull of the KV1E is basically about the same hull on the KV1Zs, so it's the same weak spots, and you can expect the same effect from both vehicles. But shoot the vehicle if you face the vehicle from the side, shoot the lower part below the turret, just below the tracks, and it will hit the ammo, and the chance of detonation is actually quite high, since that's where the ammo is stored on this tank. Now, a angled KV1E is quite a formidable opponent, and basically these tanks are being played in such a way that they're angled so that the tracks absorb, and you also want to hide the frontal weak spots. And this is exactly what I'm doing now. Again, if you will hit, like I did in the turrets, basically in the turret cheeks, you will be penetrated over there. But in some cases that's not enough to kill the vehicle. Basically you have to hit the lower part and basically kill the other crew, which is in the hull of the tank. Killing the turret crew of the KV1E is easy, and it can also lead to the tank destruction, but if you want to ensure a one-hit destruction, you want to make sure that your shell goes in around the middle of the vehicle, and you want to make sure that it hits the ammo. And I'm just going to give you an example of what a angled KV1E can do. Now, I'm pretty good with angling when it comes to the KV vehicles. I've been doing this for 10 years in other games as well, so I'm quite used to the KV hull. And most guns at this distance will probably not have enough power to go in through my armor. there are going to be guns that will be able to penetrate, and you should, if you're driving this vehicle, you should focus on disabling the vehicles that are a threat to you. So tank destroyers and tanks that have nasty ammo, or tanks with big guns that can overpressure are your primary target. But as you can see, the KV-1E, if angled, is quite the difficult tank to kill. Now if you are facing a KV-1E like this that's angled, you want to try to flank it, and most importantly you also want to shoot the gun. You want to make sure that it can shoot at you while the KV is being flanked. So shoot the gun, and then it's going to be forced to repair, and while it's repairing you can basically go around and shoot it at the side. Now you can kill a KV if you hit the weak spots, and you can also kill a KV if you have enough power to go through the armor, which is exactly what happened here. That tank used APCR or APDS, I believe, and basically hit the side armor and wrecked the vehicle. So that's how you disable the KV-1E. Now let's go on to the IS tanks. The IS is a bit different, although honestly it's not that difficult to disable the IS. In general, they're not really much of a threat, but I'll cover them nonetheless. And this counts for all the IS hulls except the IS-2 1944, which has a different hull design, but we'll come to that later. So the IS tank has the same front weak spot as the KV. You have the driver's hatch right here, which is one weak spot, and you also have the lower plate, which isn't as angled as the frontal plate, upper plate. And honestly, if you hit this tank in the lower plate, it's going to be destroyed in one hit. You also can shoot the turret cheeks, also quite weak on the vehicle, and you also have the commander's hatch, which can be overpressured by high caliber guns. So if you have a high caliber gun and HE, you can shoot this thing at the turret, at the commander, and basically it will kill it. From the sides, the ammo is stored at the back of the turret and below the midsection of the vehicle, right around here where my mouse was. The ammo is also stored in the back of the turret. You can shoot the vehicle in the upper side armor. It's going to cause a lot of damage, but if you want to hit the ammo, shoot below the tracks, right where the turret is, in the midsection of the vehicle. And this also counts for the IS-1, the premium one. It's also basically the same tank as the IS-1, just with a different camouflage, all the same weak spots, and all the same module layouts and placements. Ammo placement is also the same. So if you know how to kill the IS-1, you can kill the IS-1, the premium one. And you also have the IS-2. Now the IS-2, this IS-2 is basically the same tank, just with a different gun. So it also applied that it has the same weak spots, basic lower plate, the driver's hatch. Ammo is also stored in the back of the turrets, and ammo is also stored at the bottom of the vehicle, where you can also hit the vehicle and basically detonate the ammo. Now, there is a premium IS. This is the IS-2 Revenge or IS-2 1944. It has a different hull design, but it's not any different from. It's not any more difficult to destroy it. You shoot it at the lower plate right here. It's where the armor is the weakest, and the shell will just probably one-shot the vehicle. Since the ammo is right behind that on the floor of the vehicle, you also have the turret cheeks, and you're seeing the same weak spots on the commander's hatch. The ammo is also stored at the back of the turrets. You can shoot the vehicle at the side armor, basically anywhere. It's going to do a lot of damage. But the ammo is at the bottom, basically. The ammo is stored at the bottom and at the back of the turrets. So I usually try to aim right there. But you can hit the ammo from the front very easily if you shoot at the lower plate. And you also have this IS-2, which doesn't have the protection on the lower plate, but it's about the same vehicle. And it has the same weak spots as the IS-2 Revenge. It's the same thing, just the IS-2 Revenge has extra plates on the lower plate. And let's take a look at the X-ray of this vehicle. So here you can take a look at the X-ray. The ammo is stored at the back of the turret. The ammo is stored at the midsection of the vehicle below the turrets. You also can see the radiator and the fuel tanks. So honestly, very easy to memorize all that, and if you want one-shot the vehicle, shoot at the lower plate or shoot at the turrets, since the shrapnel and spalling can easily just go all the way to the ammo storage in the turret and detonate the tank that way. But I personally like to shoot the IS in the lower plates, and that's more than enough to basically detonate the vehicle. Not that difficult to destroy the IS. It's one of the more easier heavy tanks to destroy. The KV line is definitely a bit more difficult to kill, because they can have some thermal armor, and I'll also give you some examples where to well, I'll give you some examples in actual combat where I was shooting at the IS, and one example on my own tank where I got killed, since that's also a good example. So the IS-1 and any IS tank is a decent vehicle. It has a very good reverse gear and it's quite mobile. Has very good ammo, good penetration, and it is definitely a formidable opponent. In this case, in this situation, that's how the tank is being played. And just like that, I destroyed 3 Panzers, 2 Tigers and 1 Panther. Actually, that's the third Tiger. There we go. Well, second Tiger and 1 Panther, basically. Now, let me try to find a IS. Honestly, been kind of difficult to find targets for this video, but I think I managed pretty nicely so far. So there is one IS, and you can shoot at the turret. In this case, shoot at the turret. Always try to aim at the more obvious weak spots. If the lower plate is hidden, shoot at the turret. If the turret is hidden, shoot at the lower plate. Basically, shoot at the first weak spot. That's the easiest to hit, and that also can be applied to all of the tanks. So let's see where the Tiger shot me. Right in the driver's hatch, and there we go. Ammo detonated. Now the KV-220. This thing is very difficult to kill, although it has the same weak spots as any KV, but for some reason players seem to have a problem with this vehicle. I don't know what's the case, but hopefully I'll be able to help. So from the front we have the driver's hatch. Right here you also have the machine gun turrets, which is right here, and you also have the lower plate, which also is easy to penetrate than the frontal armor. Now this thing's main gun is angled. This part right here is angled. So if you manage to land a shell right here, it knows to actually ricochet, and it knows to go down, so it's basically a good trap shot. And this vehicle dies if you do hit the gun mantlet, since the ammo is also stored here. The shell goes, hits the gun mantlet and ricochets and goes in the hull, basically exploding right on top of the ammo. And that's one of the ways how to kill a vehicle, or you just penetrate the gun mantlet and the shell just goes in the turret that way. From the side armor, same as any KV, you also can shoot the turret ring, you also can shoot the back turret. The ammo is stored right here below the main turret, at the floor of the vehicle, basically. So if you want to kill the KV-220, just shoot at the fuel tank, or shoot below the turrets, or shoot right close to the floor of the vehicle, or shoot the lower plate. All these shells will just go right in the ammo storage of the KV. And here you can take a look at the X-ray shot. It does have some ammo in the turret, but if you pick a lot of ammo, the turret will be packed with ammo, but I usually don't do that, so the turret is empty. But the back part of the turret does carry ammo, and can carry ammo if you have a lot of ammo in it. The main ammo compartment is basically below the turret at the floor of the vehicle. You also have 2 fuel tanks and a radiator, and from the front you also have the driver and the machine gunner, and behind them is the ammo, also the fuel tank. So if you do manage to hit the vehicle in the lower plate, it will probably go right in the ammo, which is in the midsection of the vehicle below the turret, and that will probably be more than enough to detonate, depending on what shell you're using. I personally like to use APHE or APDS. In this tier you have APHE and APDS and APHE DS, which is also a very good ammo type. Now, a angled KV 220 is a nasty thing. And I've been playing this vehicle for a while. Even a Tiger has a problem to penetrate a angled KV. Now, this hull is a bit different from the classic KV hull. It's more extended, it's elongated, and you can easily hide the weak spots. If it's angled, it's very tough to go in and hit the driver's hatch. It's not impossible. If you do hit the driver's hatch while this thing is angled, you can kill a vehicle. And you can also shoot the turret or the turret ring, also a kind of visible target that you can hit, but honestly it's very difficult to snipe a KV-220 in medium tier because it has a lot of armor and the guns in this tier aren't that accurate, so it might take a while for you to actually nail the weak spots at long distances. And that works really well for this vehicle since it is a very good tank to drive around, a fun one. I like to angle it and I like to use it as a sniper or a medium range. Medium range to long range works really well, surprisingly. It has a good gun, and a lot of players have a lot of problems to just kill the vehicle, so hopefully after this video is out you know how to disable the KV. And I'll also show you one example of the turrets of the gun mantlet being more problematic than, I mean, you will see what I'm talking about. The gun mantlet is a weak spot, but it's a weak spot for different reasons as you're about to see. Because the tank is elongated, if the shell just bounces off the gun mantlet and if it goes down in the hole where there's little to no armor, it will basically ammo wreck the vehicle. So you can kill the vehicle by not exactly penetrating it, but by ricocheting the shell from the turret. And then the secondary explosion will just go in and overpressure the vehicle, or it will just go in and detonate the ammo. So that's the thing about the KV. But as you can see, this thing is just nasty. In general, a very tough tank to eliminate, and in the hands of a good player, it is a nasty tank. As you can see, I almost bounced. I think I bounced all the shells. Little to no damage to the crew and little to no damage to the vehicle. Just the tracks could hit. This thing is quite impressive. I like it. And an example of how to kill a KV-220, even if it was angled. Just look at the shell. Look at what this shell does. Goes in, flies, hits the gun mantlet, ricochets and goes in and directly in the ammo. And that's how you kill a KV-220. Shoot it at the lower portion of the gun mantlet, and there's a good chance that it will go in and detonate the ammo. Now this thing, KV-122, a fusion between the IS and the KV. It has the same driver's hatch weak spots, also can be shot in the lower plate. From the side, the upper plate is also kind of easier to penetrate than the frontal plate, since it is less angled. The turret cheeks on the turrets are also the weak spots, same as on the IS. From the side, you can shoot the vehicle anywhere on the upper side armor. The ammo is also in the back of the turrets, and the ammo is located at the floor of the vehicle, at the bottom of the vehicle, basically in the same spot as on the IS, same spot as on the KV-220. And overall, the KV-122 isn't much of a problem to destroy. It's just difficult to land a hit on the right spot, since the vehicle is quite mobile, and the vehicle it has a very nice hull design, so hitting the weak spot might be kind of problematic at long distance, but it's honestly not a hard tank to kill. And here you can take a look at the X-ray of the KV-122. Ammo at the back of the turret, fuel tanks at the side, radiator and engine at the back. The ammo is stored very close to the driver, so I recommend that you shoot this thing in the lower plate. Lower plate, very close to the tracks, not shooting the driver exactly, but shoot next to the driver at the lower plate, and there's a good chance that your shell will go and detonate the ammo. It's a big gun, a big shell as well, and detonating the ammo on this thing is not a big problem. And overall the KV-122 is not the most well armored vehicle, but it does have a very scary main gun that I'll show in action here in a second. But it's honestly not a difficult tank to destroy, but the largest weak spot is definitely the lower plate and the commander's hatch, as well as the turret. In this tier, most of the vehicle, if not all the vehicles, can penetrate the KV without a problem. Of course, if you hit the frontal angled plate, it might bounce since it's angled, and the frontal plate is good, but it's usually easily avoidable. So I don't really rely on armor when I'm driving the KV-122. I rely on cover, and you can also play the vehicle in the same way as you play the other KV. Just angle around the corner and let the tracks absorb, but the turret, having the IS turret or a modified turret to resemble the IS turret, means that you will have the same weak spot as a IS, so the turret on this vehicle is quite vulnerable, and if you get hit in the turret, there's a good chance that it will detonate, or basically it might kill the crew or immobilize the vehicle for a while. But the KV, this KV isn't really a big problem to kill, and I would say the most problematic vehicles are definitely the low tier heavy tanks, since they have very good armor where the guns can actually struggle to go in, and in the lower tiers it's much tougher to penetrate the heavy tanks. In the higher tiers, as we're about to see, I mean, we have only one high tier Soviet heavy tank, the T-10A. That's basically the next vehicle that I will show you. But this thing has a very good gun, and it just wrecks. It's a very scary tank, and it just does a very good job at eliminating enemy tanks. Can penetrate most, if not all, the vehicles, but at the same time it isn't really the most well armored vehicle, so it shouldn't be a big problem to shoot one down. And just like that, I'm basically farming kills with this thing. It was a gift tank, and well, not exactly a gift, but I farmed it. And the last Soviet tank for now, the T-10A. Now the T-10A has a very good frontal upper plate, angled, it can bounce shells. The obvious weak spot is the lower plate, and you can actually kill the vehicle quite easily in the lower plate. The driver is right here, the ammo is right here and here, left and right, very close to the driver. You can also shoot the vehicle left and right in the turret cheeks, right close to the gun, and the shell usually goes in and does detonate the ammo, which is stored at the back of the vehicle. From the side, the T-10A has ammo at the back of the turret, has ammo at the side armor, and has ammo at the frontal plate right here, has also ammo in the midsection of the vehicle at the floor of the vehicle right over here. So this thing has ammo all over the place, and honestly detonating the ammo on the T-10A is quite easy. Now it has spaced armor, and I recommend that you avoid shooting at the upper side plate on the side armor. Shoot it below the tracks, that's where there is no spaced armor, and same can be said from the rear. Shoot the tank in the rear of the turret, that's where the ammo is stored, and same weak spots from the sides and basically from both sides. Now let me show you the X-ray of the T-10A. As you can see, there is ammo all over the place. Ammo at the back of the turrets, ammo at the side armor, ammo at the front armor. I mean, honestly, it's very easy to penetrate the T-10A. If you are shooting at it with APFSDS ammo, then just shoot at the turrets or shoot at the side armor on the lower plate, very close to the tracks. That's where the ammo is stored. And usually if you hit there, it just detonates the vehicle, but I personally prefer to shoot the T-10A in the turret, and I usually aim for that ammo that's stored at the back of the turret. It's much easier to detonate that ammo than to detonate the ammo up front, although I don't know why that's the case, honestly. This vehicle can be quite a troll vehicle, but I aim at the turret and I aim for the ammo that's at the back of the turret. APFSDS, HE-ATFS ammo easily penetrates the Titan turrets and easily detonates the ammo on this thing. Honestly, probably the easiest heavy tank to destroy in the game, since it has ammo all over the place. Although this vehicle is quite fast, and honestly, I did enjoy driving it. It is a good tank in good hands. The main gun isn't the best, but it does get the job done. In high tier, in up tier, it definitely can struggle, since most of the tanks easily penetrate the armor of Titan A without much of a problem. If there's any problem, I mean, anything just can penetrate the armor of this vehicle. And I'll just show you some examples of how I drive this vehicle, and I'll also show you how this vehicle can be easily penetrated and destroyed or killed. You can play it by angling as well. I do that quite often, since it has very good spaced side armor, and honestly the side armor on this thing is very good, but the turret's armor, while being good and rounded, it's easily penetrated in high tier, so I don't really rely on the turret armor, but the hull is good. And unfortunately, you will not be able to penetrate all of these nasty high tier tier 8 vehicles. Yeah, that's a ZTZ. I'm probably dead. Although that ZTZ doesn't really know how to aim or where to aim, that's why I survived the first hit. If they did hit in the turret, well, if they did hit in the turret, I would be dead, since I have ammo in the turret. But they didn't do that, or they are shooting with HE-ATFS ammo, which, you know, HE-ATFS isn't really the best ammo out there. And that costed the ZTZ, well, that tank got wrecked. I survived. I did not expect to survive that, but I'll show you one example of what happens when you penetrate the turret armor on the T10A. And that will happen in a second, I believe, very soon. But overall, I will be, well, soon that will be end of part 1, I would say. If you have any, well, not the ending right now, but I'm just preparing to finalize the video, since in a moment I'll be killed here. There we go, a Mars 15, a very nice little tank. So, and there we go, T10A destroyed. So let's see where I was hit. There is the magic dart flying, and they were shooting at me in the lower plate. Yep, it detonated the ammo. There we go. Well, that's how you kill the T10A. Shoot at the lower plate, at the side cheeks, and it just blows up the vehicle. So that will be it for part 1. Feel free to ask me any question that you have. I'll try my best to answer as fast as possible. If you have any other questions, again, feel free to let me know. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.